Today we're going to heat and bend Coveworks style symmetry wall base around a concrete block with a 1-inch bullnose radius corner. We'll be using some lengths of PVC that are cut to 4 inches, which is the height of the base. The smallest diameter we'll use is a 1-inch PVC that has an OD of about 1 3/8. We're also going to use a 1 1/4 Schedule 4D PVC that has an OD of about 1 3/4. We also need some good quality painter's tape as well as a heat gun. Now we're going to take our base and we're going to mark the center point of that corner on the back of the base. And what we want to do is define the area that we're going to be heating up. We want to come out about 3 inches or so off of that corner in each direction and mark the back of the base. That's going to be the zone that we're going to be heating up. It's good to have those marks on there just so you can keep up with exactly where you need to apply the heat. And we'll come in, the heat gun, when we're working on the back of the base, can be pretty close, and we can move it fairly slowly across the back of the base. So we want to get it heated up thoroughly. We want it to be pliable. That heat's got to penetrate all the way through the base. This base is 3/8 of an inch thick, so it takes a little bit longer than 1/8 or 1/4 inch base would take. And so we're just going to keep applying the heat and getting it ready to bend. The easiest way to check the temp, see how it's doing, is to just touch the back of the base with your hand. You don't want it to be so hot that it burns you, but you also want it to be hot enough that you wouldn't want your hand there for more than a split second or so. We'll flip it over. We're going to do the front now. You'll notice I'm a little bit farther away from the face of the base and I'm moving the gun a little bit faster. We certainly don't want to do anything to damage the face of the base. And we've done most of our heating from behind. Now we just want to be sure that we've penetrated all the way through the base. Once it feels pretty hot, we'll go ahead and flip it over and start working on making it more pliable. So we're continuing to apply heat. We can flip it back and forth, just checking to be sure that we get everything nice and warm all the way through. Once we think that we're starting to get it hot enough, we'll start trying to bend it, start trying to make it a little bit more pliable, just to see. And we can see here that, yeah, it's pretty flexible and it's looking pretty good. We'll keep applying some heat and you see it will just about fold in half at this point. Now that the base is getting thoroughly heated, we should be able to take it and roll it back and forth with our palm. This is going to tell us once it reaches this point, it's pliable enough to go ahead and add the PVC, get it taped up and let it cool and hold that shape. So we're going to take the 1-inch PVC, again that's an OD of about 1 3/8. We'll put it in first. We're going to center it up on the mark that we made at the beginning of the video, and we are going to add a second piece. This piece is a little bit larger. This is the 1 3/4. We're going to butt it up against the back of it, and now we're going to add some tape to hold everything in place. We come in with the tape. We want it fairly tight. We want to conform to that 1 3/8 inch diameter, which is a little bit smaller than our end radius that we're looking for, but we know that it's going to spring back out just a little bit. So we want to overbend it slightly. Now we're going to take our PVC, we're going to push it into the corner, into the back of the base, and we want to add a second piece just to hold everything in there nice and secure. Once we have everything nicely wrapped, it'll be ready for cooling. We can do that in one of two ways. We can set it in front of a fan for 5 minutes or so, or it can be dunked in a bucket of water. So here's a pic of a couple of pieces of base that have been wrapped around a piece of PVC, and the bottom one is the look that we're going after. You can see that the two sides there are parallel with each other. The top one is just simply crimped in too far, and over bending that radius will cause a problem. So here's a pic of the one that was wrapped properly. You can see that it fits pretty tight against the radius of the concrete block. In contrast, here's the one that was wrapped too far around the PVC, as well as the PVC was a little bit too large, and it resulted in a pretty good sized gap. So now we're going to take a second piece of base that was warmed up 4 or 5 minutes ago, and it's been cooling in front of a fan. We'll get it taken apart. If you don't have a fan on the job site, you can use a bucket of water. We just suggest that you get it good and dry before you add the adhesive. So it looks like our shape is set well. We're going to come in and do a dry fit, and it looks like it's conforming to that corner just like we want. So if this were a real installation at this point, we would add our adhesive. Once the adhesive is on, we'll come in and we will apply a couple of pieces of tape. You can put it at the top and the bottom, depending upon the floor covering, just to give it a little extra hold while that adhesive is setting up. So if for some reason you get to this point and it just doesn't quite want to adhere where we want it, we can come back and heat the base again a little bit more. And it's best at this point, if it doesn't look like the tape is going to hold it where you want it, just go ahead and get it heated up. Again, we're not getting too close to the face of the base. We don't want to get it too hot, but we do want to get it warmed back up pretty well. And we're going to apply some weight to each corner. In this case, I've got a couple of cans of paint that I'm going to take and just slide those against it. You could add the tape first and then come back in behind it with the weight if needed. But we just want to give it something to hold it tight while that adhesive goes through the process of drying.